Samantha here from RecipeThis.com and the voice behind the popular kitchen gadgets podcast, Magic with Gadgets. Today I'm coming to you from Rose Cottage in Yorkshire to show you how easy it is to cook a slow cooker doner kebab. Well, before we dive into this recipe, I just wanted to suggest that you head over to RecipeThis.com. We've got more than 1,200 kitchen gadget recipes, including recipes for the air fryer, instant pot, slow cooker, soup maker, bread maker, microwave, Ninja Foodie, and many others. We also have a free weekly newsletter, which you can find on the homepage of RecipeThis.com, or you can find it on RecipeThis.com/newsletter. And there you can get our best kitchen gadget recipes sent to your inbox every Friday morning. Have you ever made doner kebabs before in the slow cooker? They are absolutely delicious and so easy to make. You simply place into a bowl lots of different seasonings along with some lamb mince, mix it in the bowl with a little bit of breadcrumbs to bind it, and then stick it in the slow cooker in a similar way to the shape that an American cooks a meatloaf. And then once it's cooked, you thinly slice it and you can load it into pita bread with Greek yogurt sauce and then whatever extras you want, such as some lettuce and tomato, and it's just absolutely amazing. So let's start by running through the ingredients that we're going to be using. So first of all, you'll need a mixing bowl to make it easy for you. We've got 500 grams here. I've done it on that one. We've got 500 grams here of lamb mince, as well as plenty of seasonings. So we're using bouquet garni, but it's much better with mixed herbs. But the ones here, my husband's allergic to, so it's just a simple swap. And we're also using cumin, garlic, onion, cayenne, oregano, paprika, as well as salt and pepper. They're just simple regular ingredients. Apart from the paprika, everything's come from M&S, but of course it's personal choice to where you buy things from. And I also have a big supply for some other videos I'm doing of some breadcrumbs. So we're just going to use a small amount of breadcrumbs just to bind it all together. So that you're not washing your hands every 20 seconds when you're handling the lamb, I recommend adding in all the seasonings first, and then after that, adding in the lamb and mixing it with your hands. So then you just have the slow process of doing it all. So that's the bouquet. You're aiming for roughly a teaspoon of each. I'm using a big spoon here because then it's easier and it saves it all flying around. And then the garlic. Onion, salt. This can be quite salty, so make sure you don't go over on this. Cayenne. You're aiming for about half to a quarter. Oh, that came out ridiculously fast then. You only want a small portion of this because cayenne pepper can be quite spicy, and it depends. If you're feeding kids as well, you can just forget adding that. Just depends on how you want it. And then of course oregano and paprika. Paprika's not open yet. You can use any paprika, smoked, sweet, or just some regular. Adds a lovely flavour. And then that just leaves the salt and pepper. Generous portion of salt and pepper. And then that's all your seasonings in the bowl, ready to go. And now you can mix them with a spoon now if you want, or you can mix them later. And then you get a lovely colour on them. I mean, that's the colour here on ours. And don't you think they look nice? And then the next step is you can add your breadcrumbs now. I've got a massive bowl of breadcrumbs here, obviously not all being used for this. I've just made some in bulk today because we're doing some other breaded recipes and it's nice to do a day of them. So there you go, that's 3 tablespoons of breadcrumbs in there. And now all that's left is to add in your lamb. I don't know if this happens to you, but whenever I put lamb in a bag, it always leaks the juices everywhere, so we've double bagged here. And then I got my lamb from the butcher's, but supermarket lamb's fine as well. Just give it a really good mix. Depending on where you buy the lamb from, depends on how much breadcrumbs you'll need to bind it, because the fattier the lamb, the more you'll need. So if you've got some really nice lean lamb, you won't need a lot. And then just keep mixing it until it's all nicely mixed. I like to break up the centre just to make sure the centre's nicely coated as well. And then there you have your big lot of lamb that's ready to make a doner kebab with. And of course, you're aiming for a similar shape to a meatloaf, so that then you can just thinly slice it down and it'll make the perfect meatloaf. So now you've done that, the next step is to wrap it in some foil. Any foil will do, just as long as you can wrap it up tightly, it'll do the trick. Your lamb is now ready for the slow cooker. So the next step is to get your slow cooker out. And another thing about our slow cooker doner kebab, it's actually our first time using our brand new crock-pot slow cooker. We've just upgraded from our last one because the last one was so damaged in the bottom base and everything was sticking. And the great thing about this one is it can go on the stove top, so you can saute your onions or brown your meat. So we're so excited to use this in our doner kebab. So then all you need to do with your doner kebab is place it in the slow cooker like that. And as you can see, we've got a really good sized one. You're looking for the high setting. And then you can leave it to slow cook. I recommend 3 hours on high or about 6 to 7 hours on low, depending on whether or not you're leaving it when you go out to work. With cooking, do you ever go off smell rather than time? I mean, here I am with this new slow cooker, and I didn't actually realise until I was setting the temperature and the time that it hasn't actually got a cook time thing on it. It's just automatic on high or low, and then using your watch to remember when it's done. Well, I often go by smell, and I've been here in the kitchen and all I can do is smell it, so I just know that it's nearly done. And we put it on at 10 AM. It is now 25 past 1. So it's just done just short of 3.5 hours, and then it's perfect for putting on mid-morning and ready for lunch, or putting on mid-afternoon and then you're ready for dinner. And then of course once it is done, if you don't want to eat straight away, you can just turn it off but leave the lid on the slow cooker and it'll keep it warm for a few hours for you as well. So shall we check to see if it's actually cooked? So I recommend you start by taking the lid off. And then I recommend having a look. I can see there's quite a lot of liquid in the bottom because some of the lamb juices do escape into the slow cooker. And then you can check on your parcel and then see if it's cooked. Excuse the fat from the lamb, it kind of goes everywhere. And wow. It is absolutely cooked, there's no doubt here whatsoever. And another tip I've got for you is if you're serving it with some pita breads, what you can do is, whilst it's on keep warm, is to place some of your pita breads on top of your foil, and it'll warm them up for you, so you don't have to use a microwave. I'm not bothered whether my pita breads are cold or warm, so I'm not going to bother like that. So once you've done that, you can just roll it out onto your chopping board, and then we can cut into it and see what it looks like. And yeah, perfectly cooked doner meat. I'm just going to give it a few minutes to cool down, and then we can start tucking in. So the next step is to make yourself some garlic Greek yogurt to actually go with your doner kebab. I recommend this Greek yogurt because it's just perfect. A fat-free one will work well as well if you're following this recipe and you're on something like Weight Watchers or Slimming World. If you are, then note that you can swap the pitas for whole grain ones. You can use fat-free yogurt, you can use 5% lamb mince, so it's very easy to adapt this recipe. And then once you're ready, load some yogurt in. I like this yogurt because it's so thick and creamy. And then give it a good mix round. And then you want to add in your extras. So a little bit of garlic, too much and it ends up overpowering. A little bit of lemon juice. This is another reason for using really thick Greek yogurt, because otherwise after you add in the lemon juice it can sometimes end up too thin. A bit of mint, and then give it a good mix. And then this is perfect for your doner kebabs. I recommend a taste test. I can't really taste the garlic in that, so I'm just going to add it very slowly in. It's not coming out today, then what's it with it? And then a little bit of extra lemon juice. I like to go slowly because you can always add in more in, but it's nothing worse than making one and finding out it's got way too much lemon juice or way too much garlic. And that is much better now. So there is your garlic ready for your doner kebabs. You've got your meat already ready. And now I'm going to pass you over to Dominic because he makes the best ever doner kebabs, and he's going to put it all together for you. So over to Dominic. You can add whatever salad garnish that you want to your doner kebab. We're just keeping it simple today with just some lettuce, some tomato, the Greek yogurt dip that we've just made, as well as some of the doner meat. And as you can see, he's doing a beautiful job there. Much better than me, but he's professional. So tomato first, and then some lettuce. You don't need a lot. You don't need it overflowing with the salad like it is when you buy a doner kebab from the takeaway house. And this is just brilliant to feed your family for a Friday night, and much cheaper than buying a kebab each. And then you can save some of the spare pita breads and throw them in the freezer if you have some left over. And you can just load it up with all your favourites in there. And then if you didn't want to make the full effort for the night, then you could go and grab some chips from the takeaway to serve with it, and then have your doner kebab going in the slow cooker. And if you've not done it before, doner kebab meat in the slow cooker is absolutely amazing, and not cheap like the sort that you get from the takeaway. And you can go as lean as you want. In some countries they have a mixture of beef and pork instead of lamb, so if you can't afford lamb, then you can do that instead. Oh, and wow, that looks absolutely fantastic. I think that one's mine. Oh, it really does look the biz. And if you have a look back on the chopping board here, let me just show you. That's how much meat we've still got left. We didn't do a huge amount of lamb. And if you think you could easily feed 6 people if you've got pita breads for a Friday night in, so it's ridiculously cheap compared to buying a takeaway. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to the Recipe This family. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook and Pinterest. We also have a weekly newsletter at recipethis.com/newsletter where we share with you our latest kitchen gadget recipes, what we're cooking in the Milner kitchen and so much more. As well as this, we recommend that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, and then whenever we have a new video, you will be the first to know. And if you want to know about all our future videos, then I recommend you hit the bell for instant notifications. But even better, we now have a podcast. It's called Magic with Gadgets. Simply search Magic with Gadgets on your favourite podcast player and you'll find us there.